Well, hi there. Welcome to Living in Seattle Suburb. My name's Marilee, and this is my channel. And if you're relocating to Seattle or moving or thinking of moving by your children or some friends, or perhaps you live in Seattle and you want a different change of pace, you've come to the right place. Living in Seattle Suburbs is something I created because with my work, I'm a real estate broker. I get to travel around a lot and go to many different towns and cities. And I also like to know about these places because I'm helping my clients move. So I want to make sure that they get into a place that they really want to live in and, know about the community and things like that. So I decided to create this channel. Here we are, Living in Seattle Suburbs. If you'd like to hear about more channels coming up or you want to have a conversation with me, please subscribe. So I thought I would start with Mukilteo, Washington. Mukilteo, Washington is like a little hamlet. It's north of Seattle, about an hour, and it's right on the water. It's a small town, very small town feel. I actually went to school there and grew up on the beach. I had a lot of friends who lived in the town by the water and spent a lot of time in Mukilteo on the beaches. So what do I like about Mukilteo and living in the beachy environment? It is a small town. I would have to say its lifestyle is probably one of the biggest things that's pretty special about Mukilteo compared to any other towns around it. It's a certain lifestyle, and you have access to this wonderful, park on the beach. You have access to the beach itself, and there's some really nice community events that they have, like the Lighthouse Festival. There's a lot of parks, and I'll list them in a little bit, but they do have a lot of parks. They have designated land. There's I would say two ways really to get into Mukilteo. One is the Boulevard, which runs north and south. And then there's the Mukilteo Speedway, which runs east and west. The Mukilteo Speedway is the newest portion of Mukilteo, and it's probably 10 years old. To me, it's new because, I grew up there as a child. That's where they can expand for Mukilteo. So that's where all the shopping is. So you can go up and down the Speedway and find almost anything you need to find as far as retail services. If you keep going down the Mukilteo Speedway, you will run into the Alderwood Mall in Alderwood and Linwood, which is an amazing mall, very large. It has restaurants around it, movie theaters around it, other businesses around it. Plus, they had the mall itself, and then they expanded out. So there's like an outside mall, and we go there. I don't go too much. I don't really like crowded areas, but I have an older friend that I pick up and I take to the Alderwood Mall, and I'll go to like the Apple store, and she will go shop in her little stores. And then we almost always get lunch, like at the Claim Jumper, Cheesecake Factory, Chang's Mongolian Grill, places like that. So there's also across the street Red Robin, there's Ross, there's Home Goods. So pretty close to Mukilteo, you can hit Alderwood and have all the shopping that your heart desires while living in a beautiful place where, like, every morning you can start your day by looking out over the water. And in the evening, watch the sunset. The sun sets over the water, and it is incredible. I have enjoyed the sunsets a lot in my life, and I've also lived in areas where I saw the sun rise, but that was kind of early for me in the morning. But sunsets are amazing. As a child growing up, we used to go down the beach. We'd take a woody trail from the Mukilteo Boulevard, cross over the railroad tracks, which I thought, would I let my daughter do that? No. Not at the same age. Nope. But pretty long woodsy trail down over the railroad tracks, and we had the beach to ourselves. We built fires, and at night we'd just enjoy each other's company. And I remember thinking, there's a lot of life in that water, and I have no idea really how much, but there's a lot of incredible life force there. And I've actually swam in the water. Would I do it now? On a challenge, or if I had to, yes, but it's pretty cold. What was interesting is it had pockets of warmth. So, in the Puget Sound, you've got crab, you've got dolphins, you've got sea lions. I don't think I ever saw like a whale in Mukilteo, but it's possible. I saw them in West Seattle where my grandmother lived. Um, but yes, the water in Puget Sound comes from the ocean. And so there's a lot of life in that water. And it's so wonderful to just jump in your boat and we go out and we crab. My son in law just caught 3 fish and 3 crab like 2 days ago. I didn't even know he left. He left so early in the morning and then came back with this, wonderful find of food. And it's also really fun to take the ferry. So Mukilteo has a ferry, and that's where a lot of people probably come down into Mukilteo, but they've rerouted it and it's kind of off by itself a little bit. So it doesn't really impact the city of Mukilteo. And you can take it to Whidbey Island. Whidbey Island is very close. A lot of people actually live on Whidbey Island and work over here. And I've met them. My son's teacher, my daughter was ice skating in Linwood, and there were people who lived on the island and they commuted every day. They said what they did was they bought a little car and had it over on this side. So they'd walk on the ferry and get their car. So I don't know how other people do it. I think some people just drive over, but it is doable. And if that sounds interesting to you, Whidbey is definitely more rural, more suburb, living on Whidbey Island than in Mukilteo. So Mukilteo is a wonderful community with beautiful, outstanding views because the waterfront is lower. You go down a hill, so a lot of the houses are up on the hill looking down. There's condos right on the beach. They've been there forever, and I know they keep updating them, and they are on the beach. There's an Ivar's restaurant on the beach, which we like to go to, and we'll go to happy hour for the fish and chips and soup. But they do have, I would say, I want to say fine dining. It's a little more expensive than your regular dining. But they also have a walk-up fish and chips. So you can walk up to the window and get your fish and chips or your soup, shrimp, whatever you want, and then take it over to the park. And you can walk right to the park. It's on the sandy beach and watch the sunset and enjoy your fish and chips from Ivar's. So what else do we love about Mukilteo? They have strong schools. And I know when I went there, there was no high school, but now there is. And it is Kamiak High School, and it is very popular. I don't call myself an expert on the schools in these areas because as a real estate broker, I'm not supposed to talk about them, which is an odd little thing. So I accept it, and so I don't. I refer clients to go online, and while they're online looking up schools, like I like School Digger, but there's some other websites. I also advise them to look up the police department and check the crime rate and like pedophiles. Those are all pretty easily accessed and something you would want to do when you move anywhere. So we love the schools. We love the community. They have a huge Lighthouse festival. It is wonderful and friendly, and people park at Olympic View Middle School where I went, and then they'll bus you down, and I actually did it. It was easy. Very low stress. My friend actually performed, so I got to watch her sing, and they had food and drink, and it was not crowded. They had a good area spread out for us, so that felt very, very lovely. So at the Lighthouse there, you can have a tour of it. It is a historical lighthouse. We've got the beach. You can picnic. There's art there, art shows. It was there's a museum that was built in 1906 along with the Mukilteo Lighthouse. There's a couple other places that are kind of interesting. Like there's a place called the Japanese Gulch. It's 144 woodsy acres because there's like a kind of a little valley that runs from the water through Mukilteo heading east. It's woodsy. We weren't allowed to really go down there when I was growing up, but I have seen now you can look down over the bridge that goes across it, that there's a dog park down there and things like that. There's Harbor Point, which is what they also named a lot of the shopping up on Mukilteo Speedway. There's also the Deep Roots there, which is the Snohomish tribal site. There's a settlement zone there. And then Point Elliott, there's a historic landmark. You've got your seamless fusion of nature, neighborhoods. It's warm, it's inviting. It's a community-friendly infrastructure for sure. So let's get down to the facts. What are the house prices in Mukilteo? I haven't sold a home in Mukilteo in a long time. They don't come up that often. I had a friend who had me sell her condo, and that was like 2 years ago, and that was probably the last time I did it. So the home value, they say, runs about 927,000. I know there's a range. I mean, most towns have a range. Like if you wanted to get a condo, you could probably get one around 500. So there's homes that will go up much higher than that and also much lower. But in 2025, 950 was the median range. Something else is the average household size is 2.56, so 2.5, I guess. The median age is 44. That's interesting. I live in Marysville, which is north of Mukilteo, and Lake Stevens, I was just studying that one. That one, the median age was 34, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I wouldn't think that. So, it just depends. And the median household income is 122, but they said the average per capita rounds out about 63,000. And we do have a large range of income in our area, because we have local businesses, but then we also have the high tech. And high-tech people want to move to our area because it's more rural and they want to enjoy the same things we do. So they bring in the higher average income and also enjoy the things that we like. So the pros of living in Mukilteo is that it's a beautiful, beautiful beachy town. You've got the waterfront right there. There's dog-friendly parks. You can take your dog off leash. We've gone there and laid on the beach all day. We've had picnics, fires. I've been there at night. We've launched boats and festivals, community work, and great schools. And then I guess the cons would be maybe getting in and out with traffic. That's like how it is everywhere around here, though. You have to learn when is the traffic, and how am I going to navigate? So as a wrap up, I would say Mukilteo is highly recommended. I have personal experience with it throughout my life. It's like living in one of those little coastal towns that you see in the movies. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can send me messages, and I will update you when I'm doing some new towns around living in Seattle suburbs.